My name is Katie Brown and I am a team leader with Usborne Books & More, and today I wanted to share with you some of the fabulous resources that Usborne has to offer for teaching your child how to read. About 6 months ago, my son sounded out his first word, and he was only 3 at the time, and I panicked just a little because even though I was so proud of him and so excited for his growth, I wasn't really sure what the next steps were to take for him. I have 2 degrees in music education, and those unfortunately did not prepare me to teach a child how to read from the very beginning. But thankfully, Usborne has it covered, and so I wanted to show you some of the resources that we have to teach your child how to read. The first resource I wanted to share with you today is Usborne's amazing First Reading Library. This is a set of 50 individual paperback books that are meant to teach your child how to read from the very beginning. The green ones are going to be the ones that are going to teach different vowel and consonant sounds so that your child is able to sound out different types of words. The yellow and the purple are going to be leveled readers that will give them the opportunity to practice and apply the skills that they've learned using these green books. There's also a QR code on the top of this. It's actually going to be something that you can scan and get a parent's guide that's going to teach you how to use this with your child. Let's talk about the green books in this series first. Pirate Pat is the very first book in this series, and what is great about these green books is that they start with really basic consonant sounds and vowel sounds that your child's going to learn how to sound out at the very beginning. The only words that your child will read in this book are going to be the ones that contain these sounds here. What's also amazing about these is that these are dual readers. A lot of times when you're reading a really basic beginning reading book, the stories are really dull and really boring because the vocabulary that your child is able to read at that time is a very basic vocabulary level, and so it doesn't make for a really interesting story. What's great about these dual readers is that they make the story more complex and you're still having that bonding time with your child. You're teaching them to read independently, but you're also getting that time where your child is on your lap and you're reading together. This top part is more complex. Definitely not for a beginning reader, but this is something that you will be able to read, and then your child is going to read the simpler part at the bottom. And then later on, this is the last book in the green section. You can see that the sounds that you're practicing have gotten to be a little bit more difficult, a little bit more challenging, but there's examples of this as well. And you'll see that there are more words per page, and it's not a dual reader any longer. This is something that you could read together, but the child could also read this on their own because they've learned all of the skills that they need through the rest of the green books. The yellow and the purple sections are going to be where your child is going to be able to practice and apply these skills. You can see how these are a little bit more complex than the green ones were. These are no longer dual readers, so your child's going to be able to read some of these on their own, but the illustrations are still beautiful and stunning, and the stories are really fun to read as well. As you get into the later ones, the stories even begin to rhyme, which is going to teach them all about text prediction and other different skills that they're going to need when they're reading on their own later on. One other amazing thing is that each of these books has a comprehension test at the very end of the book, which sounds like a boring thing, but kids will actually love doing these different puzzles, like spotting the difference, putting the story back in order, finding different words. There are all kinds of different ways where you can practice comprehension with your child through the use of these fabulous resources. Once your child has worked their way through the First Reading Library, they might be reading really independently and doing very well, but they might not quite be ready for chapter books yet. So some of our other dual readers are amazing. A lot of these are in combined volumes, so you have the princess stories, the fairy tales, we have the Usborne Book of Bible Stories, and my favorite one, this is the complete book of Farmyard Tales. If you look at this on the website, it's gotten a little bit of a facelift. It's going to look a little bit different because it's an updated cover, but the inside stories are still the same. What I love about this is that this includes a CD that you can listen to on the go and a complete set of 20 dual readers that you can read with your child. You can see the table of contents here. Again, just like the green section of the First Reading Library, these are going to be dual readers. And what that means is that there is a simple part for your child to read, this time it's on the top, and a more complex part at the bottom for the parent to read. I absolutely love this because as kids start to grow and they start to read independently, a lot of times reading becomes a solitary activity, something that they do alone and by themselves. I don't think that should be that way. I think that parents should continue to read to and with their child until they absolutely won't let you anymore. And so this is a great way to continue that parent-child bond with reading through the reading of these books while also teaching them to read independently. The next step will be our phonics readers. Our phonics stories are some of our family favorite read-alouds because they are funny and silly and your kids are going to love to read them, but they're also going to be really great for teaching those literacy skills. You can find our phonics readers in a few different ways. First is a box set of 20 phonics readers that's going to be a nice sturdy cardboard box that includes 20 of our phonics reader stories. You can also buy them individually as paperbacks. These are $6.99 each. Beautiful illustrations and tons to choose from. The best way and the most affordable way to get your phonics readers is in our combined volumes. Our combined volumes include more than one phonics story in one binding, and so because the publisher saves some money that way, they pass that savings on to you. So this is Ted and Friends. This includes 12 of our phonics readers. It also includes a CD. Mine is actually in my car because my kids love to listen to it so much. But these include a lot of our phonics stories with beautiful illustrations, and some of this one also has fold-out pages as well, which makes the reading even more fun to do as a family. Cow Takes About and Other Tales, this is another one, and this one includes 6 different phonics readers. Raccoon on the Moon also includes 6, and then our newest one, Giraffe in the Bath, also includes 6 tales as well. And I'll show you which ones are included in this one. This one is our particular favorite one at home. My son absolutely loves Giraffe in the Bath and Chimp with a Limp. Again, these are funny, silly, hilarious stories with beautiful illustrations, full color on the pages, and they're really fun to read as a bedtime story or really an anytime story. Another really exciting resource that Usborne Books & More has to offer for teaching your child how to read is our leveled readers. These come in 4 different levels. Level 1 is going to be similar to the yellow books in the first reading library. There are very few words per page, lots of beautiful bright illustrations. Level 2 is going to pair really well with the purple section in the first reading library. Using the same levels of skills, you can see that there are more words per page. The illustrations are still bright and beautiful, but you're going to have a little bit more of a complex text in these books. Level 3 and Level 4 are really your beginning chapter books. Actually, these are even a little bit more complex than our very beginning chapter book series, Hey Jack and Billy B. But these are going to still be a precursor to your average chapter book, which is going to be filled with words on every page with fewer illustrations. So you can see how there's fewer words still because of the beautiful illustrations that are in here, but it's going to really prepare your children for reading chapter books. So if you have a kiddo who's getting ready to learn how to read and you're feeling really overwhelmed and not sure where to begin, don't worry, because Usborne Books & More has you covered. Thanks for watching.